How you doing today? My name is Domati Pungo. I am hosting ARP's Redefine Possible in partnership with the Chicago Sky of the WNBA and, of course, Donda's House. And our guest today I'm especially excited about, Simone Moore, actually is representing an organization who is receiving an award at the Chicago Sky's gala that's coming up pretty soon here. She is the School Partnership Manager for Corp Chicago. And thank you for coming. Congratulations to your organization.
Thank you.
On being honored at the gala. And again, my name is Domati. Thank you so much for joining me. First, Simone, tell us what you do and more about your organization.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm Simone, and I work for AARP Foundation Experience Corps. And what we do is we take older adults that are 50 plus and place them into public schools and charter schools to mentor and tutor literacy, K through third graders. We focus on those years because those are the vital years that the students are learning to read. Those are the years that are vital because after third grade, they're not teaching the students how to read anymore. So everything is about what you already know. So within the program, I am the volunteers manager. So we are in 18 schools across the city. And I go around to the schools to make sure that the volunteers have the necessities for their volunteer work.
That's amazing. So Experience Corps is under the umbrella of ARP Illinois. Explain that partnership and how Experience Corps works upward, with the overall vision of ARP.
Yeah. So ARP, most people think that all we do is have insurance, but we do a lot more than just insurance. We have.
That's what I thought. That was my first question. I said, so Experience Corps is what now? So you got to explain this whole foundation, how it works to me.
So there is the ARP side, which is a nonprofit sector. Then there is the for-profit sector, which includes your insurance, your memberships, things like that. And then there's the foundation. So I'm under the foundation. Of course, the foundation hosts a numerous amount of programs. They have driver safety, tax aid programs, and they have Experience Corps. And that's just a few of the programs that they have under the foundation.
Now, you talked about, being honored by the Chicago Sky. How did that come about? What was it that you guys were doing that caught the attention of the WNBA?
Yeah, so Chicago Sky is actually one of our sponsors, and we have been working with them this was our first year actually working with them, and they basically sponsor one of our schools within the communities, and they take our students to basketball games.
Oh, wow.
I know, so much fun. They come out, they give the kids different workshops about healthy eating and
actual Chicago Sky players.
Yes, well, the coach has come out.
The coach has come out.
Yeah,
and people with your organization. That's exciting.
So yeah.
That's exciting. Now, what have you learned having an opportunity to see the elderly teach people as young as K through third grade, right? Because this is an interesting program. These might be retirees. Are these all retired teachers? Or are these people who worked in several different sectors working with the youth? How does that work?
Great question. So these adults they come from all walks of life. They come from, you don't have to be a retired teacher. The only thing that we're asking that you do is that you be at least 50 plus. You have the time frame available and a high school diploma. So you don't have to be a retired teacher. Whatever you decide, if you can be a plumber, you can be a lawyer, doctor, our volunteers are a vast amount of different types of people.
And what's the time commitment like for volunteers? There are folks out there who, retired early, are 50 years old, still got a lot of things they want to accomplish and things that they want to do, ways they want to give back and ways they can engage. And this sounds like a program that would be perfect for folks like that. So what is the time commitment and how can they get involved?
So what I've learned are seniors are the busiest group of people that I've ever met.
Oh, yeah.
So just because they're retired does not mean that they don't have anything to do, because that's the total opposite of most of our volunteers. The time commitment is usually in the morning. We like to say between 8 and 10 or 9 and 11. It's usually the first block of instruction at the schools, and so the volunteers are usually done by noon.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now what are some things that you're thinking about for this upcoming school year that the teachers are really focused on, that the volunteers are really focused on for the students coming up?
Yeah. So for the school year of 2016-2017, we were in 18 schools, and for our 2017-2018 school year. I know, right? We're already talking
It's
about
flying by.
Oh my
We're already in
gosh,
June.
yes.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Yes. So that school year, we are looking to move into 25 schools across the city. Majority of our schools are located in the Inglewood neighborhood, Bronzeville area, South Shore area, the West Side, North Lawndale area. So those are our areas. So we're looking to expand those areas for the 2017-2018 school year.
Did you guys purposely focus on diverse communities? Because, those are all, mostly minority neighborhoods, Lawndale, you said Inglewood. Is that where you saw the need? Is that where you guys wanted to focus? How did that come about?
Yeah, initially when we decided to bring Experience Corps to Chicago back in 2013, that was the initial goal. Was we saw the school closing. We went into the school year with all the schools closing, and so that was just a huge, wow. Oh my goodness, so many things were going on. So that was the year, and we chose schools that were receiving schools. So that's how we initially started in 16 schools. And so after that, we actually take principal recommendations. So what happens are our current principals, they recommend other principals to the program, and that's how they find out about the program.
So it's no secret that CPS is in embattled school district right now. Funding is a big issue for Chicago Public Schools. How has that affected the program, if at all? I mean, early on, those receiving schools are the ones you focused on, right? But now with funding being an issue, how is Experience Corps leveraging those partnerships? Does it affect you at all?
Slightly. We have a lot of sponsors. Thank God for Chicago Sky. We have multiple sponsors, but a lot of it, our current schools, they love the program. They love what we have going on. So what they've chosen to do is to make sure that they put the money in the budget to make sure that we are able to come back.
Now, we're talking a lot about Chicago, but you guys are all over the place. You have 22 sites across the nation.
Yes.
Tell us more about what you guys do nationally.
So the same program that we run in Chicago, we run it in 21 other cities as well. So a little different. Our model is different from a lot of models. We do small group tutoring, which means that there is no more than 3 students in a group, and there's one volunteer. So other cities, it's a little different. They may do one-on-one tutoring, or they may do a ratio 1-4. So it's just depending. But most of the programs are the same.
That's brilliant, though. That is, and even as we talk about, what's going on with funding at the Chicago Public School level, classroom overcrowding is a big issue. It's hard to pay attention to different children's needs, let alone maybe perhaps special needs children who may learn differently. When you have 1 or 3 students being able to teach one-on-one with someone, works one-on-one with someone, it makes a difference. Have you gotten feedback from parents as far as what it is that they're seeing the children do differently?
So we get a lot of feedback more from the teachers, and the way we group the students is different. We make sure that the students are on the same reading level before we put them in a group. So a student that may be reading let's say a student is in the 2nd grade, and so sometimes the students are just below grade level, so they're still at that 1st grade level. And then you have another student that's mid-2nd grade level. We wouldn't put them together because they're so far away from each other. We try to group them in the same area so they can learn together. So that's how that works out.
Now, we talked a little bit earlier about what the time commitment might be. Can you walk us through what you ask of us as volunteers?
Yeah, so we are asking that you commit an entire school year. Our school year is from October to May. We know that school starts in September, but the teachers need a chance to really get a chance to know their students before they decide, hey, these students need the program. So we ask that you also commit 2 days a week for at least 2.5 hours a week. A minimum of 5 hours a week, consistent attendance and schedules. When you're talking about K through 3rd grade students, you have to be consistent with that age group. It's very important. We ask that you have a high school diploma or a GED, and complete ARP and CPS screening. So there is a background process that goes along with this. We pay for everything. The volunteers don't have to pay for anything. Participate in required training. Because our volunteers come from so many different walks of life, we offer a training, and the training is for the volunteers where there are reading specialists that comes in and teach them the curriculum for the days.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, I caught this quote here. I want to go back to this slide. Rachel Roth, one of your volunteers, said, having worked as a professional counselor for years in the county jail and state prison system, she says she's all too aware of the cycle of failure engendered with children who fail to master important life skills, especially literacy, and that's why she's volunteering. Can you give any other stories of how people have brought their backgrounds, what they were doing, what they were working on, that was far outside of what it is that they're doing with the youth, and how they bring that to the tutoring session, and how that kind of enriches what the children experience?
Yeah, so I'll give you a story about one of our volunteers. He's been in custodial work his entire life, never worked a day of life in his school, but he volunteers in the community that he lives in, and so he understood, like, he sees the kids outside, they're not, you talk to them and they're not exactly doing what they are supposed to do, and so he was just like, he really wanted to give back, and so that's how he ended up with our program.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We talked more about those goals for Chicago for next year. At least 1,500 students. How many are you at right now?
We are at 18 schools at this moment. 18
schools, 25 schools, 220 volunteers, and 60% of students will advance a year or more in reading level. Those are amazing goals. We know you're reaching. We have a caller on the line. My name is Domati Pongo. You're talking to Simone Moore with Experience Corps. What's your question?
Yes, and good evening to you guys. And first, let me commend this young lady. I think you're doing a hell of a good job. It's so wonderful to have people such as you willing to get out and do something, not just talk, but do something. We talked about this not too long ago. Parents is not doing the job. So now it leaves to the teachers to do the job. Now, that's the best time to mold kids between K to 3rd grade. You let them get up in the 5th grade and they ain't did nothing, well, you might have messed up or they wish that they was back in there with you. And quiet as a kept, if you're in 5th grade, 6th grade ain't doing nothing, kick them back down to your grade, baby, and teach them. These kids now these days are sad. It's sad. This is the time to teach her. And you remember, this is not a society worth manual labor. We are living in times of technology. And technology, you got to go to school. You got to be able to read and write and count. So listen, I commend you, sweetheart. I think you're doing a wonderful job. I hope you get more that you need to help do these things. And I think more people need to listen to this show. Let Donald Duck, our president, listen to this show. Maybe he might want to try to help something instead of destroying things. I know I'm talking much, but this is the God's truth. You're a good sight. You're a good sight. Listen, keep up the work. Please just keep up the work. And thank you for taking the call.
Thank you.
Let me get out the air. Let me get out there so I can hear your response.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And that support is what really bolsters these types of programs. You know, where can they go if they want to support? He's inspired. He wants to come out.
Yes.
Where can he go? Where can he go so he can so we can get him in the classroom?
So I'm going to give you the phone number, and I'm going to make sure that I'm saying it slowly because I can sometimes speak fast. It's going to be 312-660-8655. Once again, that's 312-660-8655.
Before we let you go, Simone, he mentioned something about technology and about how this world is changing and there are different skills that, we need to teach the youth. I know this is mainly on literacy, and they're really young, K through 3rd grade. Are they using technology in any way as far as their curriculum, or it's old school paperback books? How are you doing it?
So every school is different. Some schools have the technology, some schools don't. Every school isn't awarded the same amount of money, and that's just what it is. And so some of the schools, the kids have their iPads. Each kid has an iPad. Some of the kids, they books are, it's still lit. And our volunteers love books, so that's usually their number one resource. It's just hey, let me give you some paper in your hands.
Right. Well, Simone is the School Partnership Manager for Experience Corp Chicago. Again, that number is 312-660-8655. That is the number, right?
Yes.
Okay, I copied it down correctly. Yeah, and I just want to congratulate you and your organization one more time.
Thank you
The
so
Chicago
much.
Sky Gala is coming up. Actually, let's learn more about the Chicago Sky Gala. Simone, thank you for joining us once again. Let's get Jordan in here to go ahead and talk to us about what's going on with the gala. And while he's getting set up, I do want to come about and talk to you guys about the technology piece that caller mentioned. He talked about the fact that we're engaging differently right now, right? So ARP is hosting Microsoft classes now through June 20th. You still have time to catch a few more of them. The workshop subjects range from getting to know Windows 10 to avoiding fries and scans, intro to Word, intro to PowerPoint, all things you need to know. Just like he said, this is, everything is digital these days. And here to talk to us a bit more about that is my man Jordan.
What's going on?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
And now tell us who you are, what you do.
I'm Jordan Johnson. I'm the Community Relations Manager for the Chicago Sky Cares Foundation.
And if they watch Redefine Possible, they've actually seen you a few times
They've seen
before.
me a few times before. I've actually been in your seat once or twice. I have my colleague Nick Burke here. So it's been fun. Yeah,
That's
love the
amazing.
show.
Now talk to us about the Sky Cares Foundation. What you guys actually do?
So we focus on 5 main pillars: youth and family initiatives. We support military veterans, inspiring women, of course, health and wellness, and diversity and inclusion. So within those 5 various programming initiatives, support, and then like she said, we bring groups out to games too through our charity ticket program. So we tried to be all around Chicago doing great things.
It's amazing. So, this is your inaugural gala.
This is the inaugural gala.
This is the very first one. This is the first Chicago Sky Gala.
This is the first one. So what kind of inspired us to do the gala is, over the last 2 years we did some golf outings. And golf outings are always fun. You get off work, you come and, have a good time with your buddies. And then you donate, you give, you support.
Right.
But within those 2 years, we seen the support that we had from people. But we feel like the message was getting a little dulled, and the message wasn't really out here. So that's how we switched over to a gala. We figured that we can reach more people this way, and our message can be showcased on a broader scale, and we figured we could get a lot of more support this way. So the gala's coming up June 21st. You go on chicagosky.net to find more information about this gala. Next Wednesday, we have the Illinois State Treasurer, Michael Ferricks. He's our keynote presenter. So
how did that come about?
So the theme is advancing Chicago's youth, and one of the unique things that some of the proceeds are going towards is kind of what the caller what we're talking about is digital education, the digital piece. And we're trying to position our another adopted school that we have, our high school in Rogers Park, opposite side of the city, Rogers Park Sullivan High School. We're trying to help position them to be the very first CPS school with one-to-one tablet personalized education training. So
each student will have a tablet.
They're trying to get every incoming freshman, every student in the school with a tablet, with a Chromebook. So. We're looking for support through this gala, the support through kind donations, through anything that people can help support us at chicagosky.net to find more information on how you support the gala and support Chicago Sky Cares Foundation.
Now tell me how Experience Corps caught the attention of the Chicago Sky in terms of being awarded for the work that you do. Aside from the fact that you guys have a running partnership, what was it?
So I'm gonna show this creative as I talk about it. If you want to switch over.
Sure.
So like she said earlier, we partner with AARP Foundation with their Experience Corps program, and
flip that around for us.
There we go.
There
Sorry about that. And we seen the impact that Experience Corps has, and we wanted to have Chicago. We wanted to recognize that. We wanted to honor the good people at AARP and AARP Foundation, and we've seen that the impact that kids are having through this program, and we see the impact that it has on its volunteers as well. So we kind of wanted to highlight that, and we kind of wanted to showcase that. So I'm going to flip the page a little bit. So kind of what we're talking about. life-changing experiences, educational, health and wellness support for Chicago's youth is what the proceeds are going towards.
Let's get closer
and
here.
Together we can redefine possible. And here are some other people that we're going to honor as well: AARP Foundation, City Year, and Chicago Sun-Times. So we're going to have the city there rocking, and we're going to come together and do something special for our youth. So
That's beautiful.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
That's a beautiful event. That's a beautiful event. Callers, we're taking questions, 312-738-1060. Again, the number is 738-1060. We're talking to Jordan of the Sky Cares Foundation. Now, how long have you been with the foundation? What inspired you to get into this work?
I've been with the team this is my third summer, so third season. Actually, we're playing right now. We play May through September. Go on ChicagoSky.net to figure out how you want to come out to Allstate Arena and check us out in the games.
Oh, wow, okay.
So this is my third season, and what inspired me is I played basketball a little bit in high school, so basketball's always been there in my life, but giving back to youth and mentoring and philanthropy has been my passion. I get that from my parents, and I try to do that creatively in different aspects of my life, and I've been blessed to do this professionally. So I went to Tennessee State University, got a bachelor's in marketing, went to Georgetown University for grad, got my master's in sports industry management, then end up here in Chicago with the Sky. So I'm kind of growing myself. This is my first salary-based job, but I can't complain on what we're doing, the impact that we're having, and just kind of the freedom that Michael Alter, Adam Fox, ownership and CEO, and Jim Berta, who is my VP, the freedom and the creativity they allow me to do. So especially with the gala and some other things that we did, especially with opening the door with AARP Foundation and AARP itself, and just doing some great things. And so I can't complain doing this, man. Yeah, not at all.
That's a beautiful thing. What are some challenges that you find in working in this philanthropic space?
I would say a challenge, but it's a positive challenge for us, is the fact that we're only 12 years old. The fact that the Chicago Sky is 12 years old, and we don't have the history like the Bears. We don't have the international reach like the Bulls. But the challenge is to continue to do great things in the community and to continue to spread awareness, and is helping us, have the positive impact that we want, because, we don't try to sell people on the games. We try to sell people on our impact. We try to sell people on what our players are doing out in the community, what our coaches are doing, what the organization is doing. So if people see, the great things that we're doing with the Experience Corps, with Sullivan High School, with this digital education project, with this gala, connecting with Michael Frericks, just trying to, grow the community itself, and so that's the impact that we're trying to have, and hopefully people can recognize that and just say, hey, they're doing great things in Chicago. Let's go out and check out a game, and see how they do well on the court. So
that's a beautiful strategy.
Sure.
You help the city, and at the same time you advance the cause of the Chicago Sky, which is it has to be frustrating for you too, as an NBA player, as a ball player, I should say. Because there are times when Chicago Sky had the best Chicago record in the city, but didn't get the recognition for it.
Yeah, it's just, over the last 20 years, the WNBA's been evolving, been growing, and I just think, the respect for women's sports in general is on the rise, slowly but surely, but cross your fingers. Hopefully, we'll be in the city in the near future, a true city team. But just kind of continue to doing what we're doing, and do wins on the court and do wins off the court. We made the finals in 2014, had the MVP of the league in 2015. So we're doing great things, and hopefully people can continue to recognize what we're doing, and hopefully we get a lot more support.
So you've got the gala. You talked about digitizing the school in Rogers Park, Sullivan. What are some other things that are on the horizon for the Sky Cares Foundation, and how can the listeners support you in that?
You can go on our site, ChicagoSky.net, click on Sky Cares Community tab, and just kind of see what we're doing. One unique event that we're doing with one of our other partners, Pangea Real Estate, Pangea Cares. We're actually having a fitness festival in the city, potentially on the west side, and we're going to just get a lot of families together and promote physical fitness, healthy lifestyles, and that's going to be sometime in August. But continue to come out to the games. We're doing community things at the games. We honor women leaders. We honor veterans. So it's a lot that we're doing, and hopefully people can check it out. ChicagoSky.net.
Thank you so much to both Jordan and Simone. You've been watching Redefine Possible. Again, I'm Doma T. Pungo.
Peace.